Hey there, Patriots. So what we're talking about in this video is how we are going to draw situations described in a word problem. And specifically, we're going to look at two definitions, an angle of elevation and an angle of depression. And then I'm going to give you the steps that I want you to take to solve any word problem that I give you involving right triangles. So the first vocabulary word I want to talk about is angle of elevation. An angle of an elevation is an angle that looks up from a horizontal line. Alrighty. So what happens? I'm going to leave the picture on the left completely alone. I want you to have that as a perfect reference. But normally what I'm going to draw on this one on the right. What happens is when you're minding your own business, you always start by drawing this horizontal line, because when you're looking out, you look out horizontally. Then what happens is you are going to look up. This angle that is created between the horizontal and the up is called my angle of elevation. What I want you to notice too is that the height over here, my height, that is actually part of my picture. What I mean by that is the height of this lighthouse is actually part of the triangle that I can draw in. Okay, that's important because when we draw an angle of depression, what's going to happen is that that part is not in my triangle. Because with an angle of depression, angles of depression start high and look down. With an angle of depression, we are going to start up. We're going to start at the top. We're going to start at the top, and we are going to look down. We're going to start at the top, and we are going to look down. Alrighty, so when we're starting at the top, now our line of sight, as always, our initial line of sight, this lifeguard is looking out this way, and then he hears the swimmer in the water going, "Help me, help me," so he's going to look down. The angle of depression is this angle formed between the horizontal line and that line of sight. You are always going to draw in that horizontal line first. Now notice that the height, when I finish and I connect the two sides, there is nothing there. The height of my object, the height of the lifeguard chair is not part of the triangle. Sorry for the dog in the background. He sees my cat. So the height of that chair is not part of the triangle, but when we do our angle of elevation, the height of the lighthouse is part of my drawing. Now notice this person is at the bottom. An angle of elevation is at the bottom, and it looks up. So make sure you put that back at your angle of elevation. Okay, so when we're solving these word problems, a lot of mistakes that students make when they try to solve these word problems is we're used to working with triangles. We've been working with right triangles for this whole entire unit. So they try to draw a triangle. Please just don't draw triangles. So what we're going to have to do is, the first thing I want you to do is read the problem completely from start to finish, because you're going to figure out what is being asked. And then you're going to draw a picture of what it's saying. It's going to say, draw a lighthouse. Draw a lighthouse. There's a lifeguard sitting on a bench. Try to do your best to draw a lifeguard sitting on a chair that's high up in the air. Make sure you label your picture. You're going to put in all the dimensions it gives you. Is the lifeguard 10 feet in the air? 5 feet away? Whatever. Label it up. After you've drawn all the essential elements in your picture, you're going to connect them with points to make our right triangle. Then you're going to figure out, are we going to use the Pythagorean theorem? Are these triangles special? Is it trig or is it inverse trig? After you've figured out the method to solve your problem to find our missing values, you are going to set up and solve that equation. Now let's just draw this situation. We're not actually going to solve it, but I do want to just draw this picture. So first thing we're going to do when we're given any problem, read it completely from start to end. A nursery plants a new tree and attaches a guy wire to help support the tree while its roots take hold. An 8-foot wire is attached to the tree at a stake in the ground. From the stake in the ground, the angle of elevation of the connection with the tree is 42 degrees. Find to the nearest tenth of a foot the height of the connection point on the tree. Alrighty, I read it. I know what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find how high up the tree the guy wire goes. Now I'm going to draw what it says. So in this situation, it says a nursery plants a new tree. So I am going to draw a tree. So here's my tree. I know I'm not going to win any awards for my art. And then an 8-foot wire is attached to this tree and a stake in the ground. So I am going to connect a wire to the tree, and I'm going to connect it to the ground, and here's my ground right here. From the stake in the ground, the angle of elevation. Now, angles of elevation start from the horizontal, and then they look up. So this angle right here is 42 degrees. Trees grow at a right angle to the ground, so I can put that in. I know this wire, the problem said, was 8 feet long, and we want to find out how long the tree is. So when we draw in our triangle, my triangle is right there. Boom. Alrighty, go ahead and pause the video. I want you to see if you can draw this situation, and then I'll draw it for you. Go ahead and hit pause. Alrighty, so what you should have drawn is you should have drawn a fire tower. So I am going to draw, here's my little tower, and I'm going to give it some supports. Boom. So there's some, yeah, and then I have the actual house up here, and here's a window, and here's a window, and I have my little forest ranger on the inside. Here he is. And there he's going to draw an angle of depression of 40 degrees. So what happens to draw an angle of depression? Normally the ranger looks straight out. I draw that horizontal line first every time. Then he looks down, and at the ground he's going to see his partner. Here his partner. He's a forest ranger, so he has a Smokey the Bear hat. And that angle of depression is 40 degrees. The tower is 45 feet in height. How far is the partner from the base of the tower? Now here's where it gets fun with an angle of depression. An angle of depression does not have all these elements in it. So when we're drawing in the height of the tower, that's over here, and the how far is my X up there. Okay? Angles of depression. The triangle, that right angle is always up high. All right, so if you have any questions for your teacher, please come in and have those ready for class. And Patriots, we will see you when we see you.